Hello, everybody. Welcome to House of the Dragon Rewatch, the one of many shows that will be recapping season 2 of House of the Dragon. I am, of course, Nick from the Phoenix Press, but making his triumphant return to the bullpen is the Dread Pirate himself. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I am doing fantastic. How about you? Oh no.
I'd say I'm doing. Hey, Black Reaper, how you doing? So the show premieres next week. We're just using this opportunity to kind of get the lay of the land. We're going to talk about Game of Thrones and then House of Dragon Season 1. Just kind of set the playing field, get our opinions out there, who we like, who we don't. Just kind of get everyone up to speed. And then starting next week, we'll recap each episode as they air. But first, Ben, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Why do you like Game of Thrones?
I have a weird love-hate relationship with Game of Thrones.
I mean, that's pretty common, but yeah.
But it's not even like the usual type. It's like, I first checked it out a couple of years ago, and I liked it a lot, mainly because I felt like there was kind of a glut in well-written, well-executed dramas. I hadn't been seeing a lot at the time, so I checked it out out of curiosity, and I enjoyed it. And then, like, a few months later, thinking about it, it's like I sort of love it and I sort of hate it.
What do you hate about it? I guess I need to ask the question because I feel like it sounds like the hate came before season 7. So, what's your about it?
Well, it wasn't so much hate. It was more like most of it started when I was listening to George R. R. Martin talking about Tolkien.
Oh, yeah, that guy had the hate boner for that dude.
Yeah, and I'm Tolkien is my favorite author of all time, so I was just like, how dare you, sir?
How dare you?
And no, because I mean, it's like Tolkien. If Tolkien didn't exist, Game of Thrones wouldn't exist. I'm putting that out there.
Fact. I mean, that's just fact. So that's not even a hot take. It's just fact.
But also, it's like I thought about like the differences between Middle Earth and like Westeros, and really, it's that it boils down to worldview. I think.
Oh,
it's
some internet. Okay, we go.
No, it boils down to how I guess how you want to see the world, or at least in a fantasy sense, like. How do you want your world to look? In Middle Earth, it's like, it's very clear the lines between good and evil. And, there's very good people, there's very evil people. Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones, it's like, everybody's an asshole.
I'm going to kind of push back upon that a little bit. Like, I know among, like, the literary circles, especially kind of more in our sphere, there's kind of this, like, desire for, like, black and white storytelling. I actually like gray morality. I like gray characters. I like the nuance. And that's the thing that I like about Game of Thrones is a person can be more than one thing.
Yeah.
Like, for example, take Tywin Lannister. Terrible father. Great planner of weddings. But he was actually a very effective ruler. Like, when he was Hand of the Kings for Aerys Targaryen, he was very good at his job.
I don't doubt that. I'm not talking about so much like, that they're stupid. I think that I just think that the morality tends to lean on the side of deception and murder and backstabbing and
I mean, I agree with you to a certain degree, but I also feel like there's a bit more nuance than you're not getting credit for. But that just makes things interesting. We can agree to disagree. I mean, it wouldn't be a good show if we agreed on everything.
No, I mean, no, I like it, and I also, it's like I think about the fact that most fantasy stories I like it's usually set in the setting is the kind of world where you'd love to put a character. It's like, okay, like this part of this world seems really fun, even though there's challenges and all that. There's
Mm-hmm.
something appealing about the world itself that draws people in. And Game of Thrones is the first time I've watched a show that I've enjoyed, but I'm like, I would never want to go anywhere near that place.
Yeah, I mean, those can be interesting. For me, it's the characters. I love the nuances of the characters. Like, honorable Ned Stark. But in order to do the most honorable thing, he must dishonor himself. I love the irony of that. It's actually a very interesting irony for his character. Like, what I like about George, like, George is many things. I think he creates interesting. I hate to use this word, but it's the best thing I can say is realistic characters. Um, and then, hi, call me. How you doing? Um, George cannot keep a plot straight worth a damn. I think that's. I think we can agree on that. Even I think even he would agree on it. But I like his characters. I like the characters he creates. They're very nuanced and full of hypocritical irony that I like. Like you're gonna see me fanboy because like I really like Tywin as a character. I think he's full of like contradictions. Like he hates Tyrion for whores, yet he literally built a ladder in the Tower of the Hand so he could go see whores. You know.
Oh no, he like I'm not arguing that they're not well crafted characters. Like I do enjoy nuance to a lot of them. It's just that it seems like everything is so bleak in that universe, and it's like he deliberately took everything that was unpleasant about the Middle Ages, and that's like the centerfold of the story.
You mean like dying to crossbow bolts while on the toilet?
Yes, and chamber pots and all that. All
and
that
throwing
fun
them
stuff.
out the window and getting yeah, okay, we're getting a little bit too crazy.
We're not. George R. R. Martin is.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. So let's kind of move on to Game of Thrones show popper. So just for disclosure, I have not read the Game of Thrones books. I am strictly a TV person. So
Same here.
yeah, I just wanted to kind of put that in there. Like, I'm aware of some of the book stuff, and I might bring it up, but most of my knowledge is from the TV shows. So I just wanted to put that out there for perspective, just so that you know. The thing is, like Game of Thrones is really popular, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's why like those last few seasons, especially season 8 and the last episode, really stung people. And what's really interesting is if you ever go and watch like old clips from season 1 through 4 on YouTube, and then scroll through the comments, like they're surprisingly positive. Like they'll say stuff like "God, the writing was strong." Then like
No, it was.
they'll talk about how good the writing was. So my thesis is, yeah, Game of Thrones season 7 and 8 killed it, and we all know the reasons why. DB and Weiss were chasing that Star Wars money, and it blew up in the face. But there's the show was once good, and I think the love is still there. I think that's where we kind of bring in House of the Dragon.
Well, I'll tell you, like I really liked Viserys. He was probably one of my. I liked him because of the fact that for the first time in forever, we had a character with like who made decent decisions as a ruler, and was
And it ended
a
up
decent
bankrupting
guy.
And herein lies George R. R. Martin's fallacy. Yeah, Viserys is a good guy, but he led to the dance more than anything else.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't. Go as far as to say it was his fault, just because.
I would.
What, he was sick,
No, but his actions all throughout his life, he probably should, like, from a pragmatist point of view, he probably should have named Aegon. But like,
I didn't mind him naming. I didn't mind him changing the rules and naming his daughter. I don't know. It's the firstborn is more fair anyway.
Spectre Collector. We're talking about House of Dragon season 1 and kind of sharing what we like. Like, I get that, but I'm kind of like looking at it from a more in-universe perspective. Um, because like pretty much the line is male primogenitor. That's basically how the Targaryen throne works, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Um, and let's be honest, he mainly named Rhaenyra to spite Daemon. Which, can we talk about Daemon? Like, he's kind of the standout, like, breakout character. I mean, it's played by Matt Smith. What do you expect? But
Oh, I agree. Just I get the vibe that he's not going to be a major player for much longer.
well, it depends on. I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, Crack season, Vagar having us going down in a spiral, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's that
Um,
they've established their kids now, and by the way, season one was time jumping so much. I think they're probably going to do it again. We're probably going to center more on the
um,
kids.
I don't know because like I have like a vague idea of how the story goes. Um, I don't know because like you got Matt Smith, and he's like a major star and like he's a big part of the show. I don't think they're gonna get rid of him that easily.
Well,
But they
that's the
did
thing.
Game of
I don't.
Thrones. They got rid of Sean Bean in the first season, so anything's possible.
Well, like that's the thing. Like I don't even think they'll get rid of him per se. I mean, they might, but I was just thinking he was gonna kind of fall into the background more. Like his story
Uh,
wasn't gonna be super relevant for season two.
Possibly. I know we're probably gonna get some Winterfell scenes because remember Jason. I think it was like Jason. What was his name? Was supposed to go to the Eyrie and then Winterfell. I think in the books he actually has like a love affair with one of the Stark daughters or something. Um, yeah, like I said, it's my book knowledge is spotty. So anyone in the comments wants to correct me, please. Um, but yeah, so that'll be really interesting to go back to Winterfell. Uh, like Kragan Stark. Yeah, Kragan Stark has like a lot of has a lot to tell in the story. Should be interesting. But like going back to season 1, like Viserys, he's a good man. I'm not doubting that. But
It
he
was the
did
first time
cause
we had
like
a good king.
yeah. I mean there were a couple of kings in the whole lines. Like I think an Aegon the Fifth story would be interesting. Like Egg because they are doing Dunk and Egg. They are doing a Dunk and Egg series, so that'll be interesting.
Hmm.
Um, Aegon the Fifth was a good king. And obviously Jaehaerys before him was good, but like I don't know. I just think like Viserys. Like here's the thing, with Viserys, especially in the show, is kind of portrayed as like weak-willed or he put blinders on. But here's the other thing: Viserys is the last person to ride Valerian the Black Dread. Okay,
Hmm.
Aegon's dragon. To be fair, all he did was like ride him like a couple of times around King's Landing, and then never rode him again. But still, the fact that Valerian let him claim him, that does say a lot about Viserys' character. And you actually see the dragon come out of Viserys a couple of times, like when the Lannister dude. By the way, I love the portrayal of the Lannisters in this. It is so great. It is so great. Like, oh, we have the finest of everything. Like Lannister wine, everything Lannister is like. It's just so great. I love it. Um,
Lordy.
yeah. I don't blame Rhaenyra for rejecting him, but like when he gives him the spear and like the dragon kind of comes out, like that's a really good scene.
Dragons. You know who legally they changed the rules to allow for ruling queens in their kingdom was the kingdom of Numenor. So
We're
that
not.
should
Please don't. Please, if you're talking about Rings of Power, please don't.
No, I'm talking about the Silmarillion. I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that blasphemy.
Thank you. Thank God. Oh God.
No, like that was legit in the Silmarillion. They say that the Numenorians legalized the concept of ruling just by the firstborn and not just the firstborn male.
I mean, cool. Yeah, just my thing is, I'm going by what the show is, not by what I want it to be. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going by what I wanted Rings of Power to be.
I mean, if it was me, I would just burn the whole thing to the ground. But you know,
No, because that was that. I think that distracted me a lot when I was watching season 1 of House of the Dragon. Was that as I was watching it, I was getting sad because I'm like, this is what a Lord of the Rings show should look like.
well, you know the story of how House of the Dragon came to be, right?
Not
So
not
Ryan
completely.
Condal, the showrunner House of the Dragon, he was actually supposed to do a Conan show for Amazon. Like he was actually going to do a full-on Conan show, but then the new Amazon people came in like, oh no, we can't have a strong male show, please no. So he got booted, and so he went and did House of the Dragon for HBO, and I love how season 1 aired around the same time as Rings of Power or similar to it, and it just kicked its butt. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. I think a lot of people were surprised at how good it was.
No, I know. Like I was a little nervous about it, but yeah, like the fact that it outshined a Tolkien show. It's like on the one hand that's impressive and you got to give them props for that, and on the other hand, it's a disgrace because
I
it's
don't
like
think
a
House of the
Tolkien
Dragon
show
won.
should be number 1.
In my opinion, I don't think it's more so that Rings of Power lost rather than House of the Dragon won, because Rings of Power crapped the bed so bad.
Even worse than I was expecting.
Okay, this is going to be a hot take. Rings of Power season 1 makes Game of Thrones season 7 look like Game of Thrones season 2.
I would go along with that cuz even though I didn't agree with the direction the end of Game of Thrones was taking, I could see what they were trying to do, and it was, you know, I think the problem is that it's just a big tone shift because it's like Game of
I
Thrones always
my
was a
yeah.
lot of plans on top of plans, and then it was like towards the end there, they're like, all right, well, all the good guys are just gonna win.
I think the biggest problem in my opinion season 7 and 8 is an obvious sprint towards the finish.
Yes.
Like season 8 literally like should have been 2 seasons. Like it's like 6 episodes. It should have been 2 seasons of 10. Because I'll be honest with you, like season 8 up until the long night is kind of interesting. Like there's actually some cool moments, like you know Bran getting knighted, and like some stuff with the long night is interesting. Um, but also just like some blatant like Danny kind of forgot about the Ironborn fleet, or like the fact that like Jon Snow claimed Rhaegal and they just don't acknowledge it, or like Danny just lets him climb on a dragon, like not knowing the implications because only a Targaryen or of descent, so like he had no clue. Um, also, like when John found out, Danny should have just married him. It's like John was willing to do it.
Well, I thought that was what they were going to do, and then John killed her.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, there's a lot of just like people like also like Jamie getting all that character development and then literally flushing it down the toilet was really freaking stupid.
Yes. Oh no, I mean like I find this is kind of common for a lot of these types of shows is like they always kind of end too early. So they're like, "All right, we got to rush to the end."
Well, the problem was it wasn't HBO. HBO was willing to do like 10 seasons and they were willing to pay the money because the contracts were up for a lot of the people. So they would have had to pay them like a lot of money for the contracts, but they was like making so much money. HBO was willing to pay like, I mean, for the principal cast, they probably would have paid them like $1 million per episode or something, and they would have done it.
What the hell's wrong with them?
D&D wanted the Star Wars money. They basically had a Star Wars deal in place, and so they wanted Enid to move on.
Well, that turned out just great, didn't it?
Yeah, they lost that deal pretty quickly. I think it was like a few days after the last episode of season 8 aired, and they lost that deal right away.
It's fantastic. Good job, everybody.
Yes, yes. But yeah. So getting back to the House of the Dragon, like some other characters I want to talk about. Otto Hightower. Um, he's basically Tywin, but without any of the interesting nuances.
I always thought he was more like the bald guy. What's his name? The eunuch.
Varys.
Yeah, I always thought he was more like him. He's kind of like that's his character archetype. He's the snake that goes around and manipulates everything behind the scenes.
I don't know. For me, it's motivations because Varys is always like the realm, my lord, and then Otto's like, I'm just an asshole.
But yeah, he wants it for his family.
Yeah. But the thing I like about like the portrayal of the Greens and the Blacks is, while the show is kind of slightly favorable to the Blacks, they actually do a very good job of kind of muddying the waters for both sides. Like with Rhaenyra, her actions kind of pissed off a lot of people. Like during when she was doing her marriage selection, she basically humiliated half the realm with that marriage selection thing, and just the way she acted.
Well, let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. I support her claim to the throne. She's the rightful queen.
Yeah,
I believe
honestly,
women.
I believe Viserys is probably what I'm going to say. But yeah, I'm with Rhaenyra as well. Mostly because Aegon himself admits he's not a good king. If it was Aemon, then maybe I might be supportive.
Well, the fact is
Aegon is a puppet.
Well, the fact is she has the most legitimate claim. Like, the king literally willed it that she was the heir, and it was through a mistake on his deathbed that they're thinking, oh no, there's somebody else.
I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't a mistake on Viserys' part. It was it was basically Alicent choosing to hear what she wanted to hear. Let's be honest.
Well, true, but I mean, it was deceptively, like it did, you could see how she would think that he was talking to her.
She heard she heard what she wanted to hear. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to stick to my guns. She chose to hear what she wanted to hear.
It's a thin line. It's a narrow opening there. That's what she said. He said.
I mean, I hope she has a narrow opening. Okay, that was. I'm sorry, not really, but but yeah, I do like Alicent. Like, when it comes to the actresses, it's really weird. So I actually like the younger Rhaenyra actor. I think like she's a lot more lively, a lot more interesting to watch. The older Rhaenyra actor, I kind of don't like her. She's very flat. She's I'm gonna just be honest. She's not a very good actress. And the younger Rhaenyra is a great actress. She's very animated. I love watching her on screen. But when it comes to the Alicent, it's kind of flipped. I like the older Alicent. I mean, it's the girl from Ready Player One. What do you expect? But
she's more interesting.
Yeah, like the younger Alicent is not terrible. Like, she's not terrible by any means, but like, I don't know. I feel like she's kind of like a less experienced actress. But also, you could also kind of make these things like, oh yeah, but she's younger and she's like naive and whatnot. And, like, yeah, I can buy it. Like,
it's no excuse.
Prefer, if it were me, I kind of would have just kept the younger Rhaenyra or whatever. I don't know. I don't like older Rhaenyra. I just
Well,
not.
she had to get older so she could marry her uncle.
Oh God. Ah.
I do wonder if George R. R. Martin like has a fetish here.
I mean, it's a thing in Targaryens. They marry
But
their
it's not
brothers.
even just them. Like there's a lot of family relations going on in Game of Thrones as a whole.
Let's not get into that debate because that's very quickly approaching modern media is bad debate, and I don't want to get into that.
I'm not even debating that. I'm just talking about George R. R. Martin being a fetishist.
I mean, he's a liberal cock. What do you expect? Um, but yeah. So the way the episodes are going to go going forward, we're just kind of just talking about Game of Thrones and House of Cards season one. This one. So each episode will air every Sunday at 9 p.m. And the first hour of every episode, we're going to have a spoiler-free discussion. There will be no spoilers. So after about an hour, we're gonna like warn you and say like put up the spoiler tag, and then we're gonna have the spoiler discussion. So because we're gonna do the streams the day they come out, I want to give people a chance who haven't seen the episode to not get spoiled, and the people who have it, then we can have a good discussion about it. I feel like it's kind of like the best of both worlds. So that's how that's gonna go.
Okay.
Like
Well,
I
I gotta learn how to speak about it without spoiling things.
yeah, you better. I'll have my bat ready to bonk you.
Ned Stark gets his head cut off.
Okay. Spoilers for a 10-year-old season. Okay.
So I was just, it slipped out. See, that's how it goes.
No wonder you don't have a girlfriend.
I date a lot, sir. Okay,
Yeah, but if it keeps slipping out, you're doing something wrong.
just means that I'm well. It means I'm well armed, is what that means.
Sorry,
Radio
was gonna
silence.
I was gonna make like a small joke, but I was like, I don't want to do that to the guy. So, who's your favorite character in House of the Dragon? I think you said Viserys, right?
I would say yeah. I mean, I do like my dude with the eye patch.
Yeah, Aemon's really great. Like I'm sorry, but the coldest line is, "I may have lost an eye, but I gained a dragon." Like that line goes hard.
Well, that defines masculinity as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Like I just love like the Valerian sisters. Like, why did you claim that? That was our dragon. Like, did you go out and claim the dragon?
Well,
Like that's how it works. You go and claim the dragon. Like if you went out and claimed the dragon, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
but the question is, I mean, what if somebody gathered 7 balls together and summoned a dragon from that?
God.
Would that?
Oh my god. Wrong show, brother.
It's always the right show.
No.
I had to slip a DBZ reference at some point.
It's okay. So, what do you think about that one daughter being a dreamer?
Wait, what?
The daughter of Allison. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember her that well.
Yeah, she's kind of in the background, but like, she actually does make prophecies. Like for example, it's like Aemon's talking about like wanting a dragon, and she says you'll have to close an eye first. Stuff like that.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that's in the show. She is legit a dreamer.
I mean, it's like there's bits and pieces I can recall straight off. Like, I think, like the thing I remember the most was just when Alicent was trying to get information and was using her feet.
Oh my god, yeah. And you can tell this is not the first time they've done it. I like he's done that either. Just by the way, like the like her expression, like, oh god, I gotta do this again. And like he was just like touching himself and wasn't even trying to hide it.
You know, George R. R. Martin, he's got a type, you know.
Also, you know that dude's a skin changer, right?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Like it's very like heavily hinted at that he's a skin changer. Like basically he wargs into the rats to spy on people. Like there's this one scene where like there's a rat on the mantle, and, like Viserys looks at it, like he notices it, you know, kind of staring at him. I think like it's kind of be a hint.
We need we need more magic in this show.
Well, magic costs money. Like that's special effects, and that costs money.
We need less chamber pots and we need more magic.
Less chamber pots, more wildfire pots.
We don't need medieval foot fetish videos, okay?
Oh, another good guy is Harwin Strong. Like that guy was legit a bro. No, seriously. He was the only one giving the king actually good advice.
Lordy, lordy. Well, the
Like,
king made great decisions on his own.
No, he didn't.
He made fantastic decisions, and he epically sat on the throne with his leprosy.
Well, the other thing you got to realize is the throne rejected him, because like the superstition is, if you get cut by the throne, that is the throne itself rejecting you.
Oh, well, I mean, that makes sense, because he was a nice guy, and a nice guy can't be meant to rule over Westeros. It has to be a schemer who's constantly...
Someone who can make the strong decisions, really.
Somebody who can just, you know, as many knives in the back as possible.
Yeah. I don't know. If I were to put myself in Viserys' shoes, like, some of the stuff he should have done is he should have gotten rid of Otto Hightower a long time ago. Or at least sided with Daemon more. Like, I'm sorry, but like him, like the way he did the gold cloaks, they're cut purses and thieves. That is the only language they understand.
I just think Damon crossed the line a few times with his brother.
Definitely with the Flower and Rhaenyra, I will agree to that. What else do you think? Where else do you think he crossed the line?
Didn't he make fun of his dead son?
Oh, the heir for the day. Yeah, I can't defend that.
Yeah, it's like that's what set this whole relationship off.
Well, the thing about Daemon is he's a wild card. Like, you don't know what he's gonna do. Like, is he going to be the king of the Stepstones, or is he gonna hand in his crown? You know, like that's why that scene is so effective. You know, where he walks in wearing a crown. You legit don't know what he's gonna do, and I think that makes it really interesting.
Are you picking up my dog snoring?
No.
Okay, good.
But yeah, Otto should have gone a long time ago and had Strong put in, or Daemon be the hand of the king. I don't know, because like Daemon clearly loves his family. Daemon clearly wants to do stuff. I'm going to be honest. I think Daemon probably would have made a decent king. Like I know they try to compare him to Maegor.
I mean, he probably would have been a more violent, ruthless one.
But effective. Like, his violence would have been for a purpose. Like, that's the thing about Daemon. Daemon doesn't do violence for violence sake. he does it for it's violence to him is a means to an end. He enjoys violence, but he doesn't take pleasure in it. It's like he enjoys fighting, but it's a means to an end for him. You get the difference I'm trying to make here?
No, I do. I just, I like wizened and good kings. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm old fashioned.
but sometimes you just got to smash a breastplate in.
Ay, ay, ay.
Let the rubies fly everywhere and enter the river.
That's how dragons take over dwarven cities.
No, that's how you end a dragon dynasty once and for all.
No,
You realize what I'm talking about, right?
no. The way you end a dragon's dynasty is you send a hobbit in because they don't know how the smell of a hobbit.
Oh, God. I love how you just keep trying to turn this into a Lord of the Rings show. I'm not going to let you do that, sir. This is a House of the Dragon Minecraft server.
Aragorn would have been a much better king.
No. We're not doing that. We are not going there. So which characters did you like hate or not like? Curious.
I wasn't fond of Alicent.
How so?
I can't even recall exactly why. As I was watching, I got the vibe she was becoming more underhanded and manipulative as time went on, and I
But
knew.
they still tried to portray her as innocent. That's the thing. That's the
But
problem that I had.
And I knew way before they even showed the scene with the king. I knew her kids were gonna get into an altercation with Rhaenyra. Like I knew that was coming.
See, the scene that really kind of pisses me off is, Viserys is dead, and they're just, all right, let's move forward the plans we've been planning for 10 years. And she just looks around like, what? What plans? What plans? Like, plans that she has very much been a part of for the past, 10 years or more.
Well, that's that manipulation.
I think, part of her cares. I think this is more just show bad writing, in my opinion. Because, she was obviously a part of those plans, look at her head of the table. She was taking the seat.
I figure she's just feigning ignorance.
But why? What's the point? She is agreeing. She's on the side. What purpose does it serve?
Well, it helps. She's able to manipulate from the shadows easier because nobody would suspect her.
She's the queen. The only people there was a small council. And the only person who got objected, Kristen Cole, had a head-to-head with them.
Look,
okay, we need to talk about Kristen Cole. That dude is, oh my god, mega simp. Mega simp.
You're simping for him?
I'll be honest. The actor who plays him is incredibly good looking. I will give him that. Oof. God dang. Good looking dude. But,
I can,
yeah.
I can respect that.
Okay. Bonk. But, and the actor himself, he plays the role great. I'm not criticizing the actor here. Just letting you guys know. The actor actually does a really decent job with this role, so I'll give him credit. But he sleeps with Rhaenyra. He's like a jilted lover, and he's like, he confesses to Alicent. He takes advantage of it. The dude is kind of an idiot.
How so?
He gets manipulated by one woman, and he lets another woman manipulate him.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a weakness for most men. I mean,
not to the point where you literally kill your ex-girlfriend's husband's. God damn, Game of Thrones is complicated. literally at their wedding. Like, Kristen Cole and emotional security do not go together.
Oh, I mean, well, again, the vast majority of people in this universe are, backbitey, power hungry. Oh, how do I manipulate this person to get this thing from this person? Oh, I gotta manipulate 3 steps ahead. It's a giant chessboard.
I mean, to be fair, Kristen Cole just wanted to serve. Because, like, he had a really big jump in power. Because, like, he was basically little more than a hedge knight. And then to go to the Kingsguard, that is a huge, huge deal,
Well, he's
by the time of the heiress's death, I think he's like Lord Commander or something. But yeah.
Well, he's no heir of Numenor.
Nope. I'm spraying water at you.
I don't even know what you're talking about. We're talking about Game of Thrones here.
Yeah, Kristen Cole, the Kingsguard guy.
I know, and I was mentioning he's no Numenorian. He's no Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Stop it.
Fine, Dunedain, whatever.
All right, everyone. Chill.
Yes. Yeah. But like that scene where they got like the Beesbury guy and like he slams him on the table and like that was a powerful scene. Like that just kind of came out of nowhere. But that was wild.
Lordy. Do you remember when Rhaenys busted through the floor with a dragon and had her chance to knock off all of her competitors for the throne?
That was really
But she didn't.
That was
and then she
really
flew away?
Stupid. That was really stupid.
It's a lot like Black Frieza punching Goku and Vegeta in one hit and getting ready to kill them both, and then he's like, nah, I'm good. And then he flies away. It's all connected.
It's all connected. But yeah, that was really stupid. Like they just growled and went away. Even the show acknowledges how stupid it is. Like they even like call her out on it. Also, I love like the ending scene with Storm's End, where it's like Viserys said like dragons can't be controlled, or like the little dragon kind of annoyed Vhagar, and it's just like, fine, I'll show you who's boss. Like that Vhagar, I think, was Rhaenys Targaryen, like one of Aegon's sister wives. That's the last of the 3 dragons.
Huh.
Yeah. That's why it's so big. It's because it's actually like hundreds of years old.
I don't remember much about the lore of dragons from Game of Thrones. I remember laughing in season 1 when Daenerys' brother is in the bath with a prostitute. And we're getting expositional dialogue about dragons. Apparently that's like pillow talk.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of how early Game of Thrones did it.
No, I know. That was my favorite thing. It's like, oh, we have an exposition dump. What do we do? Oh, just have somebody having sex on the screen.
They actually had a name for it. It was called sex position. Like, remember that scene in Littlefinger's brothel where you just had like those 2 girls going at it? The Littlefinger's like, this is let me tell you everything about myself. But so here's 2 hot girls going at it, and then naked. They like early Game of Thrones did that a lot. I think that kind of did contribute to the success. Like, we're on HBO, we can get away with this.
Well, yeah, like I recently, I think almost about 6 months ago, I watched Rome for the first time on Max. And I noticed it was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
Well, actually, I think that Benioff and Weiss were actually huge fans of Rome. Like that's why the one who played like the head like Ilaria Sand, she was from Rome, and they specifically cast her because she was from Rome.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where like things kind of come from. As far as like going forward, so are you familiar with the Blood and Cheese incident in how in Fire and Blood?
No, I am not.
So, in the books, in revenge for Vagar killing his son, Damon hires two assassins, one named Blood, one named Cheese. So they break into the Red Keep. Um, they go to see Dreamer Lady's children because she's married to her brother. And she has two children. And so they tell her, pick one to die. She picks one. They tell the kid, your mother picked you to die. And then they kill the other child.
Uh,
So in the episode list for season 2, there is an episode called Blood and Cheese.
oh God.
So we're getting Blood and Cheese. And knowing this show, you know it's going to be brutal.
Oh God.
Yep, we're in some Red Wedding.
Well, I mean, all of this could have been avoided if they had just chosen a king of noble Dunedain blood
Nope, nope,
who
nope.
could have
That
brought
I will
about
need you-
Westerness.
All right, so we will not be talking about Lord of the Rings. I muted him.
It wasn't even
Behave?
things.
All right, are you ready to behave, sir?
It wasn't just Lord of the Rings.
Just Lord of the Rings.
It was also the Silmarillion, the unfinished
No.
tales of Middle Earth.
This guy is really trying my patience. Oh, this is so much fun.
So chamber pots.
Oh, that's a crappy way to get us back on track. Oh god, that was a bad joke. So what do you think about the Valarians? Are we just kind of going over all the different characters?
I dig their hair.
Yeah. Whenever I see them, I'm suddenly filled with dread. So it's a bad joke. Such a bad joke. Like, do you think their hair naturally falls that way, or they have to like get it done every day?
Get it done. But it's fantastic.
The royal hair weavers.
Look, being sexy takes time and it takes work.
Yeah. Also, so I need to pass on by you. Do you think one thing? I was kind of getting a vibe between young Allison and Rhaenyra, like a little bit of a
Yes.
lesbo vibe from them.
I was totally getting that. And I got
like
and
the
I
way
would-
it's like on the lap and just like he was kind of like on her lap and just the way they looked at each other. Like I feel like there's some stuff happening that they never told us about.
Yeah, I felt like there was at first I thought there was going to be like an undertone to the whole thing of like, okay, they're miserable as adults because they're trapped in loveless marriages and they really love each other, but because of how backwards society is, they can't be together.
Well, definitely from Allison's side, she definitely just needs some good dicking because I did find that scene really interesting where like Rhaenyra's the brothels is getting pleasured and she likes it versus Allison is essentially getting SA'd.
Yes.
and she's just like blank, staring at the ceiling. I think that's a lot of her problems. Is she's not getting that good dick.
I think I think that all kind of coincides.
Because she's very uptight, and plus, like the fact that she kind of goes a little more religious as she gets older. Um, Take that lady to the street of silk right away, please.
No, I mean it. I can totally see the writer's point of view with that.
How so? Explain.
No, I mean it's clear there's like there were some feminist undertones that were being subtly
Undertones?
yes, undertones.
No, they were overt.
Kind of. But they were
they were like dude, they were
they were more intelligently crafted than the typical.
It does kind of fall into like the woman stuff a little bit. It's one kind of iffy thing.
But no, like that was the thing. Again, like I got the vibe. It's like in the beginning they show them they're super close. There's most likely an attraction there, but because society won't let them be together, and they end up with other people. So what happens? They become monsters because religion.
I don't think it's that simple. I mean, I do.
Well, I'm saying, I think that's the dynamic underneath the story.
I'm willing to say it's an element of their dynamic, but there's way more to it. I do think Allison is kind of jealous of Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra is allowed to be more free, whereas Allison feels more restricted in what she does. And I think she's kind of jealous of that to a degree. And plus, Allison, Rhaenyra, like flaunts it, takes it for granted, and is a bit like arrogant about it.
I would agree. Yeah,
like
Allison becomes the most unhinged.
Like Rhaenyra gets to choose who she gets to marry. Okay. Allison was not given that choice.
Yes. And she ended up marrying her best friend's father.
Yeah, I think the moment that really did break the relationship was when Daemon deflowered Rhaenyra, and she lied about it to Allison. And at first she believed her because of the friendship. I think that was kind of like the moment that ended the friendship or whatever. Like it could have been repaired, but that episode is really heartbreaking because you get this kind of moment, like after Daemon comes back at the party, everyone kind of seems to be coming back together. Like Alicent and Rhaenyra actually have their first talk in probably years, and they're actually like kind of starting to bridge the gap. Like it's really heartbreaking because if Daemon hadn't done what he had done, they actually could have come together and been a true family.
Well, I mean, they were able to eventually.
Not really, but
But they got married. It's fine.
No, I'm talking about like Allison and Rhaenyra. You know, like they had that conversation.
Oh, I was talking about Daemon.
Yeah, but that was just like after like a lot of people die, like a lot of husbands dying. Well, Laenor basically goes to Free City. Like, I wonder if that's ever going to be a plot point. Like, I wonder if it's ever going to be brought up. Like, oh yeah, Laenor's not dead. He's part of the Golden Company. Actually, I don't think the Golden Company exists. No, the Golden Company doesn't exist at this time because the Golden Company was formed by former Blackfire people. So that's about 50 to 100 years away. So yeah, the Golden Company doesn't exist.
So you brought them up just to tell us that they're not there.
I had to flex my knowledge.
That's what this stream is. You're just bragging.
I mean, if I really wanted to brag, I could bring up how much money I made at convention this week, but we're not doing that. It's a lot of money.
You know where? Never mind. I'm not going to do it.
Go. No. You started it. Finish it, sir.
You know where they wouldn't have problems bragging about money?
No,
The
no,
Kingdom
no,
of Gondor.
no. You go and think about yourself, sir.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh.
What?
So, yeah, the Spy Master, he is really interesting. Like, I do think he's a Green Seer. Yeah, the Strong family, I actually like them. They were good people.
Well, their name is Strong.
Oh, Rhaenyra certainly thought they were strong.
I get it.
I don't like. See, this is a problem. Like the only reason, like, I feel like the whole like sons being bastards plot only works. It's kind of an idiot plot because everyone can see they are not Valerians, but because Viserys is so determined to just not. Viserys' way, like basically, the way he deals with problems is he ignores them, and he hopes that if he ignores them long enough, they sort themselves out, and that just causes more problems down the road.
Well, to play devil's advocate, maybe black hair is just a recessive gene.
But if you watch season 1,
S- Could be just a recessive gene, yeah.
did the seed is strong? Like, do you remember? Do you remember like a huge plot point was Baratheon black hair was very strong. You know, the seed is strong. The fact that Joffrey had black hair is a big deal. Like, there's this whole like big thing where it's like gold of hair, black of hair.
Could be a recessive gene. I mean,
Dude, the seed is strong. It's literally in their name.
could be recessive. That's all I'm saying.
Their name is literally strong. The strong sea seed is strong. God.
I mean, genetics, it's a roll of the dice. Sometimes you have a black son.
Oh my God! You just got to go there. Oh. Y'all need Jesus.
So, team black, team green. That's who we got vying over the throne.
Yeah. Gonna be interesting. I can't wait for the epic duel between Daemon and Aemon over Harrenhal and God's Eye. Like, that's gonna be a really interesting fight scene. I don't know if you know how that goes down in the books.
Well, no, I don't know much of anything about the books.
Yeah, so we're talking like Fire and Blood. That's the book I'm referring to. That has all these details. I'm trying to think of like all the major players. We talked about Throngs, Valerians. What do you think about Rhaenys, the queen who never was? What do you think of her character?
I thought she was boring until she was about to kill everybody that stood in her way and then stopped and flew away.
Yeah, she kind of just stood around a lot. I mean, she did say some things, but like, you don't really do much. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I was just like, every time it cut over to her subplot, I was just like, oh yeah, this thing's still happening.
Yeah, for a really important character, they don't really do much with her. It's weird. I'm trying to think here. One thing I do like is you have twins on the Kingsguard, and they're on opposite sides of the war. I think that's a really interesting detail.
Yeah. I mean, I dig Civil War type stories in fantasy.
So, what do you think about the fact that they kind of had like the secret of the Targaryens is to fight the others, and it's in the cat's paw dagger, the very dagger that like 200 years from now will be used to defeat the Night King?
I did not put that together
They
when I
literally
watched it.
they have scenes in it, multiple scenes where they talk about it.
Good God. I need to pay better attention.
You do. Like, there's scenes where they literally say it, and he calls it the Song of Ice and Fire.
I remember the prophecy of the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah,
And
so
that was
apparently it's a destiny of the Targaryens to help defeat the others.
yes. And I remember no, yeah, and that was what Viserys was counting on, and he brings it up to Alicent when in his delirium he thinks he's talking to Rhaenyra,
Yeah.
and then thus sets off a chain reaction that will lead all the heirs to declare war on each other. It's gonna be chaos.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
They're just gonna, yeah, and I lost my train of thought.
Choo-choo, mother ducker. But yeah, each side kind of has its faults, and I do like it. But the show does kind of favor the blacks to a certain degree.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the show gives you more reasons to view them as the legitimate party.
Yeah. Another thing I really found interesting is so we visited some familiar locations. Like, I liked how the throne room actually had more swords in it. Like, it actually looks more like it does in the books. Plus, there's a really good explanation for, like, they just took all the swords out in the hundreds of years. It makes sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, we actually didn't get many returning locations. Mostly just like King's Landing and the Red Keep. I actually like that they visited more locations like Driftmark, Dragonstone. I liked how we saw the table again, that where Stannis would conceive the Shadow Baby a couple hundred years from now.
God, I missed so many references.
Yeah, like that table that lights up. That's where they can see the. Also, the other thing I like is when you're in Dragonstone, certain rooms, if you look closely, like, oh yeah, that's going to be that room.
Dang. Well, I do know that there was a prophecy that there would come a king who would reunite the northern and southern kingdoms and bring about a new golden age.
Oh no. Okay, I got the mute button ready.
I'm just describing.
I love how you started stuttering as soon as I said that.
I just was describing something tangentially related.
Okay. I still have my finger on the mute button. This is actually a really funny bit. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, if you had to assign a number rating, one through 10, 0 out of 10 really, to House of the Dragon season 1, 0 being literally the worst thing ever, 10 being the best thing ever, what would you give House of the Dragon season 1?
Good 8.5.
Okay. I'd probably give it maybe an 8 or a 9. Solid, had some issues, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, let's kind of start wrapping up here. We kind of running out of things to talk about here.
Well, I can talk about the history of Middle Earth.
He tried, guys. He tried.
It's a fantastic and very.
All right. I'm gonna give him one more chance. All right. So, Ben, anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug before we go? As we say, Lord of the
Rings. As always, I am Ben, aka the Fuse Box. You can find me on Twitter at Knights Outlaw. You can also find me on Instagram at Outlaw Knights. And you can find me on Facebook under my real name, Ben Fuselier, Fuselier. And we are currently in demand on Indiegogo for Outlaw Knights issue number 1, Second Chance campaign. We're already $100 over our
nice.
our goal, and my hope is to get us up to 1K. So if you haven't, check it out on Indiegogo.
Should we? As for myself, I too have the campaign. It's in the final 5 hours. You can check out Torn Heron Samurai number 4, Fall of a Friend, on Indiegogo right now. You got 5 hours left to grab it, and we got about $1,000 raised. 69%. Nice. Oh, and then Ben just dropped his thing, so make sure to check that out. And so, yeah. Ben, thank you for joining us. And everyone, please make sure to tune in next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll be going over House of Dragon Episode 1. As always, this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one to walk through it.